Probably the best advice I give someone that wants to get into airbrushing is literally just to do it. So many people get stuck with like, oh, I need to do this first and this first. Just paint. You're never going to develop your own style until you start developing your own style. Probably the one thing that makes me stand out a little bit more from other artists in the field is that I'm quite diversified. I will do wall murals for Guy Fieri and some of his restaurants. At the same time, I have an automotive paint and body shop here in Bakersfield where we'll paint cars, bikes, you name it. We used to work for Jesse James back in the day. I'll also work for the studios, designing paints for them, as well as coming up with techniques and airbrush effects. And I also do fine artwork. So I'm kind of running around juggling a whole lot of things. I probably didn't grow up wanting to be an artist. I knew I grew up wanting to do something different. I wanted to be innovative and do something different than other people out there. I want to do something creative. And because of that, it really just kind of fell into the airbrush category. Both my parents were artists, fine artists in oils as well as acrylics, and so going towards the airbrush was a nice way of getting away from their medium. And then I just remembered thinking it was a lot more diversified than other mediums. I could do a lot more things with it. So it wasn't something I planned on, I just kind of fell into it. Trying to figure out how many things I've actually painted or airbrushed in my career is literally impossible. I say my career goes back quite a bit further than when I was a professional, and I didn't really keep track back then. It's not like this assembly line type game. I do know I've written over 350 articles for the magazines, published 3 books, I've had over 25 DVDs out there and designed 50 different stencils. And we average anywhere from 20 to 60 customs a year here at Kal Koncepts Air Syndicate, which I've been working at since '92. So you can kind of do the math figuring that out, not to mention the wall murals and the tattoos as well I do, and all the other fine art. So it's an impossible number to come up with. I just say a lot. Probably the best advice I give someone that wants to get into airbrushing is literally just to do it. Go out and get yourself an airbrush. You can go online, find them available either on eBay, go to Coast Airbrush or any other hobby stores out there. They can answer your questions, get a simple starter kit, and just start painting. Start just doing anything you can to paint. Matter of fact, that's the best advice I can give for any artist, is just to draw, just to paint, just to do whatever you want to do. So many people get stuck with like, oh, I need to do this first and this first. There are online tutorials, online videos, there are articles, there are books on the subject. You can read, watch, or just paint. And I recommend just paint. You're never going to develop your own style until you start developing your own style. Probably one of my favorite things to paint lately, actually for the last 15 years, have been guitars. I've been working with Fender and Charvel as well as Jackson guitars, and doing the NAMM show, which is a big trade show every year for guitars. I've been painting for them and as well for myself. And I just like them because they're not as big as a car, so a lot easier to carry around. And you can do a lot with them. Everything from flat finishes like this one's a steampunk style guitar, all the way up to photorealistic airbrushing, fantasy, biomechanical, graphics, you name it. If you can paint it on a car, a bike, a wall mural, or a fine art piece, it can also go on a guitar. Plus, it's a little bit more difficult to work on musical instruments because you also have to make sure that what you're doing is acoustically transparent. So I like using a little bit of that engineering aspect of my background in working on these instruments. Plus, I'm a musician, so I like painting guitars. If I had to come up with one trick for airbrushing, that would be mine. It's not really a trick, it's just warming up. It sounds kind of funny, but a lot of people just will start airbrushing right off the bat. And every time I airbrush, I always will go off the side and away from my original I'm working on, and just do a couple of dagger strokes, just get the airbrush literally warmed up, not just the body temperature, just warmed up, get myself warmed up to it. And I'll have a lot less issues whenever I do that. So one of the techniques I always tell people is, I don't care what level you are of an airbrush artist, advanced or beginning, do some basic warm-up techniques, do them every single time you start airbrushing. It gets into a routine, and it'll get you literally right into the zone so you can start doing the painting itself. Well, my next big thing, I actually got a couple things I'm juggling. I just signed on to Disney this last year, as well as Acme, so I'm doing work for Disney, doing some different paintings. I just finished doing a Pirates of the Caribbean 50th anniversary piece that's being released at D23, and I just finished a Boba Fett piece for Lucasfilm through Acme that's called Bounty on Bespin that literally is being released in 2 days. And those are the two things I'm really looking forward to. I've got a couple more things in the works, both for Disney and for Acme I can't really talk about, but they'll be coming out next year. And then I'm also working with Alchemy Studios and been working on some projects with them and developing paints with Createx for uses not only in studio but also for fine art, as well as some set decorating and some stuff being done like at Disneyland or theme parks. So I have a lot of stuff on my plate, but like I mentioned earlier, staying diversified, staying busy. I mentioned working with some different paint companies developing products. This one is called Lumalure, and what it is, it's not a backlit painting or anything. It's the paint itself. When you layer it on there and you run current to it, will actually glow, as you see right there. Make it even blink right there. But the paint itself is electroluminescent paint, and then on top of that is the Createx Candy 2.0 line I developed, as well as some other paints that we incorporated in, and then just cleared with Automotive Clear. This can be used underwater, you can use it on boats, you can use it on clothing and fabric. Some of this technology you probably saw in Tron Legacy, but fairly new to the industry, and it's currently actually available to the public through companies like Coast Airbrush. But it's called Lumalure, and the paint that's used on top to do all the artwork is Createx. Best place to check out my stuff would probably be my website, which is craigfraserstudios.com. You can also follow me on Instagram, which is @VonFraser, and as well as Facebook, just under Craig Fraser. You can also go to gotpaint.com, which is an older website that's mostly my automotive stuff, but predominantly Craig Fraser Studios is the best place to go, and you can grab all my social media, my blogs, and all my stuff on that site.